we have Dr. Nick Scott staying with us in Temple Tiger. Dr. Nick, how did you find Temple Tiger?
Well, that's an amazing story. It was 29 years ago. I did a pilgrimage around the Buddhist holy places. I was with a Buddhist monk and we were walking. It took us 6 months. We started in Lumbini. We walked right round the Buddhist holy places, Bodh Gaya, Kushinagar, around in a circle to Lumbini again. And at the end of the pilgrimage, after 5 months, we wanted to walk to Kathmandu. It was a tremendous pilgrimage as it was. We were beaten, we had all our things stolen, we met a tiger in Palamu Tiger Reserve. And now we had this last month and we wanted to walk to Kathmandu and then up to the Himalayas. I'm a plant ecologist. I've worked in conservation all my life and I knew about Chitwan. So I wanted to try and walk through Chitwan. We had been staying in Tanzan, and the man we had been staying with in Tanzan had a contact at Arankula. And we went there, and he was in a village. He had a small house. He had his main house in a village. He was the large house in the village, right next to the park. And he took us there and arranged for the villagers to take us to Chitwan Park. But they didn't understand, and I didn't know, but we were going into the far corner of Chitwan Park where you're not supposed to enter from. And I had seen on the map there was an old track there, and I checked with the villagers it was possible to find the track. So they took us to the track, and then they took us across the river, and they gave us 2 boys. They insisted we had 2 lads, about 19, as guides. So the 4 of us went across the river and we went into the park. And of course, it turned out that the 2 guides had never been there before. They had no idea. And then when we were walking along the track, we found tiger prints, fresh tiger prints. They were at the front, they found them, and they said it wasn't possible to go on. They had to go back to their village. And, you know, we couldn't, because that was our way to Kathmandu. So the deal we had to do with the boys was we walked at the front and they walked at the back. And there was tiger droppings, still warm, you know. It was really scary because we thought we were going to come upon a tiger. So we had 2 days coming up through the park like that. You know, and for months we'd been traveling like this, sleeping under trees, very simple lifestyle. I was 5 stone lighter than I am now. I had no fat on me anywhere, you know. And so like this, we were coming through the jungle and we saw this man ahead. We saw, the first time for 2 days we'd seen someone. So we went over to try and talk to him, but instead he went off. And he came back with an American woman, a young American woman, whose name it turned out was Catherine, who said, "Gee, what are you guys doing here? Do you want a Coke?" And it was really surreal, you know. And it was the back of Temple Tiger. We'd come into the back of Temple Tiger. And it was wonderful because they took us in, they fed us, they accommodated us, they gave us a guide. They were really kind, you know. And so what I'm doing now, I'm on a pilgrimage again. I've retired, I've just retired. And I'm taking, we've got 15 people with us, you've seen, 2 monks, and a nun. And we've been going around the same trail that I did with the monk originally. And so, as part of that, I obviously wanted to come to your Temple Tiger, you know, I wanted to see it again. So I wrote to see if it was possible, and you've been really kind, you know, the owner and Rita made sure that we could come, you know, it was free for the monastics, a special rate for the guests, and it's been a lovely experience here. So I'm really, you know, especially it was the same for the lay people on this trip as it was for us. It was like coming into an oasis in a desert, you know. Suddenly we're being looked after, everything is so beautifully run, you know, the food is lovely, accommodation is lovely, the way you guided us around the park was really nice. So, you know, it's been a great success because they too have had difficulty because we're in an old Indian bus. I made it as cheap as possible so poor people from the West could come. So we're in a cheap Indian bus which goes slowly, and we've been eating Indian food sometimes and staying in the Thai monasteries at the holy places. So it's great to come.
So, how do you feel about Temple Tiger today?
Oh, I feel very good about what you're doing. You aren't at the same place in the park anymore, you've come out. But this is excellent. This is excellent what you're doing here. You know, because, you know, I really want to say to anyone who's thinking of coming here that if you come if you want to come to Chitwan is, to my mind, one of the most important national parks in the Indian subcontinent. Right? Particularly as a Buddhist, because only here can you still see the habitat of the Ganges Valley as it was at the time of the Buddha. There was wild rivers then, there was sow forest like there is here, grasslands like there is here. If you look at the writings of the Chinese monks who came later than the Buddha, they describe all this. They describe how dangerous the rivers are because there are crocodiles. The mugger crocodile, they describe it. You have it here. They describe the tigers, they describe the rhinos. The rhinos were all along all of the rivers, right? Only left here now. So if you want to see what the Ganges Valley was like at the time of the Buddha, this is the place to see it, right? So Chitwan to me is very important. Also my heart is with nature, preserving nature. The tiger is important, very nice to keep the tiger, but the tiger is like an advert for the habitat. Because they want to keep the tiger, they have to keep everything else. They need all the deer for the tiger to eat. They need the villagers to stop cutting the firewood. They need, you know, to leave it so tiger can live here. So whole of habitat is being looked after here. It's luck, because the king of king of Nepal liked to bring other monarchs here to go hunting. It's preserved. So the place is very important, and then the way somewhere like Temple Tiger works is very good. Right? Because you are now in the buffer zone. You're working with the villagers, right? So the villagers are getting direct employment from what you're doing. They can see how much it's a benefit, but also you all have the expertise. You know what needs to happen. So this is helping to protect. And you still have the base inside Temple Tiger, which you can take inside the forest that you can take people to in the full park. And that's good because you have people based there. They hear if there's any poaching, any shooting, they can report to the authorities. So I really would like to say to anyone who's thinking of coming to see Chitwan, it's better to do it this way. It might seem, luxury or not real, but it's better to do it this way than to just stay in a hotel and employ someone to drive you in a jeep. That way you're not protecting the park at all, right? But using a setup like this, which is working with the local people, they are employing so many local people. You know, you have the driver, you have the man who takes us across the river in the boat, you have the elephant waller in the park, you know, you have the guides, you have trackers, all of those are local people. It's wonderful. They all looking after for us. I noticed how the trackers were giving you information about everything. Wonderful, that's how it should be. So by staying here, you're helping Chitwan. Now, if you don't mind, please, I want to finish with an advert, right? Me and Ajahn Sucitto wrote 2 books about walking around the holy places, right? There they are. Now, these were published commercially, but now I have permission to put them up for free download. So both of these books, the first one is Rude Awakenings, and both of them can be found on the website www.nickscottbooks.com. That has been set up by one of my students so that people can have free download of my books. This is only half by me, the other half is by Ajahn Sucitto the monk, who became the abbot of Chithurst Monastery, famous monastery in the West, and is now a famous meditation master. Right? And he is the good writer, not me. So that was the first book. And the second book was Great Patient One. And in this book, we have the encounter with Temple Tiger coming through Chitwan. And you can read all about it, download it from the webpage. Thank you. Thank you for looking after us.